Welcome to TheKIlns, where words ignite meaning and truth finds voice. If you're in your 60s or even further along life's path, I want you to pause and listen. Not with just your ears, but with the depths of your soul. Because this moment isn't accidental. This video? It's not another voice lost in the ocean of content. This is a divine appointment. You might be wondering, really? Me? Yes. You. If your hair's gone silver, your knees don't cooperate like they used to, and you feel like the world has moved on. Like somehow your story's reached its final page. I want to tell you, you're wrong. You're not at the end. You're stepping into something eternal. This is not your postscript. This is your purpose. And if you've ever heard a whisper in the silence, something stirring your heart and telling you, there's more, let me confirm it for you. That wasn't your imagination. That was God. 1. The sacred season you're in. This is not retirement. It's refinement after 60. The mirror tells a different story. The lines on your face speak of laughter, of sorrow, of survival. These aren't just wrinkles. They're warrior marks. You've shown up for life even when it didn't show up for you. But now society says, step aside. You've had your turn. Let the young ones lead. And maybe, just maybe, a part of you has started to believe them. Don't. You see, the economy might have a retirement age, but heaven doesn't. God doesn't retire his people. He refines them. He deepens them. He prepares them for legacy, not leisure. And right now, in this very season, he's inviting you into something sacred. Something eternal. Something that only someone with your years, your scars, your story could step into. 2. Your voice still matters. More than ever, let's be honest. The world is loud with youth. Fast-paced. Restless. Always chasing the next algorithm, the next platform, the next visual. But as it runs faster, it forgets to look deeper. That's where you come in. Because the world may not hear you shouting anymore, but it is starving for your wisdom. The younger generation is drowning in choices and starving for meaning. They're addicted to entertainment but allergic to endurance. They follow influencers but don't know what true influence even looks like. And here you are, living proof that hope can last longer than hype. Maybe they don't say it to your face. But know this, behind their scrolling fingers is a lonely heart, searching for the kind of faith that only time and trials can produce. 3. God's timeline is not like ours. If you're feeling like your best years are behind you, remember, God's greatest works often begin when the world says, it's too late. Abraham was 75 when God called him to leave everything behind. Moses was 80 when he stood before Pharaoh and reshaped history. Anna the prophetess, an elderly widow, spent her final days in prayer at the temple, and became one of the first to behold the newborn Christ. Heaven doesn't consult your birth certificate to check your potential. In fact, it rewrites calendars. You can be both retired and rising. Both slowing down and speeding toward eternity. 4. Not just a survivor, but a steward of experience. Every hardship, every loss, every moment you thought would break you. You didn't just survive it. You stewarded it. And now you carry something the world desperately needs. A tested, trusted, lived-out faith. Says, Lewis once wrote, you are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. And I would add, you're never too old to be someone else's answered prayer. Inside of you are decades of wisdom wrapped in laughter and bruises. Your testimony is not a memory. It's a mirror for someone right now navigating the exact storm you once passed. 5. When regret creeps in, breaking free from the chains of yesterday at this age, the past can loom large. Regret can sneak into quiet moments like shadows in the afternoon, and whisper things like, you should have done more. You shouldn't have said that. You let too much time slip by. You missed your chance. But let me point you to Isaiah 43 verse 18. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. Behold, I am doing a new thing. If your pulse is still beating, God's not done writing. He's not fixing typos. He's adding new chapters. Some of you carry unsaid apologies, lost relationships, or dreams long buried. Some of you feel the weight of decisions made years, maybe even decades ago. But grace is not limited by time. There's still freedom. There's still healing. There's still glorious new growth growing from old, weathered soil. 6. Eternity is closer than you think. And that's a gift. One of the things that happens as we age is we begin to see how fragile life is. The funerals come more frequently. The aches linger longer. The calendar turns faster. But this is not a reason for sorrow. This is holy perspective. Because when you're closer to eternity, you begin to see that your value isn't in what you do, but in what you're becoming. And let me tell you, if you're walking with Christ, you are becoming radiant. Heaven isn't a far-off reward. It's a nearing reality. And every day you step closer, not into the end, but into the beginning of forever. That awareness is not to weary your soul, but to awaken it. 7. You are not invisible to God. You are His witness. Culture may walk past the elderly like they're furniture in a room. Present, but unacknowledged. But in God's kingdom, you're a pillar. You carry witness. You carry evidence that faith still stands when feelings fail. You don't just tell the story, you are the story. Proverbs 16 verse 31 says, "Gray hair is a crown of splendor. It is attained in the way of righteousness." That's not poetic fluff. That's a divine appointment. 8. Your role. Lighthouse, intercessor, blesser. You may not preach from pulpits or lead from stages. But God doesn't need a stage. He needs a surrendered heart. Even if your knees crack when you kneel, even if your words come slower, it only means your prayers rise deeper. Even if you cannot run, you can rescue through prayer. You have spiritual authority. You carry weight in heaven. That whisper of prayer over your children or your community. It's louder than a stadium full of noise to the ears of the Almighty. You are a lighthouse in a stormy sea generation. And you don't point to yourself, you point others to harbor. 9. When the enemy whispers you're done, stand firm in the truth now. I'll be honest. The attacks become subtle with age. The enemy won't scream. He'll whisper, "You're too tired. No one listens anymore. You're a burden. Just fade quietly." Rebuke those lies. Immediately. Ferociously. Because again, Psalm 92 verse 14 is your promise. They will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green, proclaiming, "The Lord is upright. He is my rock, and there is no wickedness in him." You were never meant to fade into the background. You were called to finish strong. Your latter days are not leftovers. They are the main course. 10. Legacy longevity. Here's the truth. Whether you have 10 more weeks or 10 more decades, what matters now is legacy, not longevity. You don't have to change the world to change a life. And sometimes one life changed becomes a legacy that echoes far beyond you. So bless your children, your neighborhood, your pastor, your mailman. Hold hands, whisper prayers, speak life. Pour wisdom, sow kindness, radiate patience, and walk in a way that reminds the world how faithful God is across time. Closing words. You are not forgotten. God has not forgotten you. He did not leave you behind as the world's pace accelerated. You are engraved on His hands. You are the chosen echo of ancient prayers answered in this dark hour. You are not the remainder of a bygone era. You're a reminder that God never changes. And in the words of C.S. Lewis, you are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. And might I add, you are never too old to resurrect purpose, to restore faith, to resume hope. Because if you're still here, God still has work for you. Not busy work, but holy labor. So lift your head. The glory of your final chapters could very well eclipse all the ones before it. You are not finished. You are chosen for such a time as this. 11. Pain has a place in God's plan. It's not the end, but the beginning of deeper glory. You've likely learned something in your life that few younger people yet understand. Pain is not always punishment. Sometimes pain is preparation, refinement, recalibration, resurrection. The suffering you navigated through your 40s, the grief you wore like a second skin in your 50s, the discouragement in your 60s, all of it has been used by God to carve something eternal into your spirit. Maybe your body groans, your shoulders ache. Perhaps you feel the unrelenting presence of fatigue, like a shadow that stretches longer each day. But friend, pain does not disqualify you from purpose. In fact, in ways many never see, pain prepares you for a new kind of influence. One rooted not in outward strength, but inward glory. Think of the Apostle Paul. A man of mighty intellect and fervent mission, and yet God allowed something painful to stay in his life. A thorn. We don't know what it was. Physical? Emotional? Relational? But we know this. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9 says, "But he said to me, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Your weakness, yes, yours, is the place where God's strength finds its purest expression. So no, you are not weak and useless. You are powerfully positioned. 12. Your presence is your preaching. Preaching isn't only done behind a pulpit. Some of the most powerful sermons are lived out quietly through consistency, conviction, and character. When you show up for your grandchildren's piano recital, your preaching presence. When you kneel and cry through intercession for an unbelieving son, your preaching perseverance. When you share an old you in all honesty and speak life into someone else's chaos, you're preaching truth that costs something. So don't think for a second that just because you're not shouting in front of crowds, you're not speaking for heaven. Your presence is a message. You make the invisible God visible to those watching how you live out life's final chapters. 13. Don't wait for a stage. Start where you stand. Do not waste another day waiting for the perfect ministry opportunity. Some believe ministry begins at a microphone or when someone hands them power. You've lived long enough to know ministry starts exactly where heaven placed your feet. It could be your kitchen table, the place where coffee and compassion meet. It could be your front porch, the neighborhood confessional. It could be a support group, or Bible study, or simply your daily walk to the mailbox where you bless the mailman with a word in season. Start where you are. Use what you've lived. Love with what you have. You don't need credentials when heaven already gave you calling. Your validation? It comes from the Holy Spirit, not a platform. 14. You're the living link between generations now. Listen carefully. You are the bridge between what was and what can become. You're the in-between, the hinge on the door of legacy, where the wisdom of the past meets the wonder of the future. Don't make the mistake the world makes of seeing age as an endpoint. In the kingdom, the older are often the root system for new growth. In Scripture, God often used generational faithfulness as the catalyst for miracles. Timothy had the faith of his grandmother Lois. David's obedience echoed in Solomon's reign. The faith of generations kept Israel alive for centuries. And now, it's your turn to be the root. God may never send you to a foreign nation, but He may send you to your family's future with the prayers you pray today. 15. The enemy's final lie, that you're forgotten. This lie has a particular venom. The whisper that you've been forgotten, that nobody calls you anymore, that your church doesn't see you like it used to, that your kids have their own lives, that God must have moved on to fresher, younger vessels. Stop. That's a lie straight from hell. If no one else has told you today, let me. God has not forgotten you. Isaiah 49 verse 16 says, "See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands," not penciled, not bookmarked, engraved. Your name is etched into the very hands that bore the nails. You are precious. And you are seen. God didn't forget you when he sent his son. He won't forget you now. Not in your 60s. Not in your 70s. Not on your deathbed. Not ever. 16. Find joy in the stillness you've likely noticed. The noise of life grows quieter with age. It's a new kind of silence. Your phone may ring less. The house might feel just a bit emptier. The calendar less crowded. And while that may seem lonely, it's also sacred. Because in the stillness you can hear the Spirit speak louder. You learn to crave presence over performance. You begin to walk with God not just for him. Use the stillness. Fill it with worship, reflection, rest, writing, blessing. Joy doesn't always wear dancing shoes. Sometimes it just sits with you, in the quiet, gently reminding you, you're loved. So deeply loved. 17. Keep dreaming. Keep blessing. Keep building. Let me leave you with C.S. Lewis words again, but this time let's go deeper. You are never too old to set another goal, or to dream a new dream. Maybe your dream isn't about building something new, but blessing something eternal. You can bless your family. You can bless the next pastor. You can bless someone through forgiveness. You can bless this broken world through prayer. Your dreams in this season don't have to be loud. They just have to be led by love. Remember, you're building not just for time, but for eternity. Closing. A call to legacy. A reminder of hope. If you're still breathing, there's still a calling. Not a calling to just exist, but to thrive in faith, overflow in legacy, bless the generations, and glorify God in your wisdom years. You are not the background, you're the roots holding the tree firm. You are not a relic, you're a royal remnant. You are not retired from purpose, you are refired in the Spirit. So what are you waiting for? Speak the blessing. Pass on the wisdom. Share the stories. Lift the prayers. Build the legacy that can't be bought on Instagram or measured by youth culture. Because if life is breath, then every breath you still take is precious. Intended. Anointed. And if you ever doubt that, look no further than the cross. Then forward, to the eternity waiting with open arms.